let's talk about procrastination. You know, that feeling when you say, I'll do it later. What if I told you that's not you being lazy? It's actually your brain trying to protect you from something it thinks is a threat. The real question is, what if that very protection is what's keeping you stuck? Okay, let's dive into this and figure out what's really going on. Okay, first things first, let's get this straight because this is a big one. The American Psychological Association has made it super clear. Procrastination is not about being lazy. It's not a character flaw. It's about emotional regulation. It's about how we handle our feelings. So right now, just let go of all that guilt you've been carrying around. It's not your fault. And this really lays it all out. For years, we've been told to get a better planner, to make better to-do lists, right? But we've been trying to fix the wrong problem. The issue isn't in your calendar. It's about the feelings that a task brings up inside you. It's an emotional problem, not a time problem. So if it's all about emotion, where does that come from? Well, it turns out your brain is just doing its job. Its main goal is to keep you safe and comfortable. But, as we're about to see, sometimes that protective instinct can seriously backfire. This right here is the key. It's a concept called short-term mood repair. Basically, when you're faced with something that makes you feel bad, maybe it's stressful or boring or it makes you doubt yourself, your brain's number one priority is to make that bad feeling go away now. It wants that quick hit of relief. And that's why scrolling through social media feels so much easier than starting that big, scary project. So what are these bad feelings we're running from? Well, they usually fall into one of these categories. I mean, take a look. It's all about fear and discomfort, isn't it? Maybe you're afraid you'll fail. Or, and this is a weird one, maybe you're even afraid of succeeding and what comes next. Whatever it is, your brain's solution is the same. Just avoid it. And here's a really wild reason it's so easy for us to put things off. Brain scans show that when we think about our future self, our brain activity looks almost the same as when we think about a total stranger. So when we procrastinate, we're not thinking, I'm putting this on myself for later. We're basically dumping the hard work on some other person who can deal with it. Okay, so we get the science behind it now, but to really tackle this, you've got to figure out your own personal brand of procrastination. So let's put on our detective hats and diagnose what's really going on in your specific situations. Now, don't let this equation scare you. It's actually a super powerful tool from a researcher named Piers Steele. It helps us break down motivation into 4 key parts. Once you figure out which one is your weak link for a certain task, you'll know exactly why you're avoiding it. Okay, first up is expectancy. This is simple. Do you actually believe you can do this? If deep down you think you're going to fail anyway, your motivation just tanks. I mean, why would you pour a bunch of energy into something you're convinced is going to crash and burn? Next, we have value. Ask yourself, does this task even matter to me? Is it meaningful? If something feels totally pointless or like a complete waste of time, your brain is going to have a really tough time getting on board. No meaning, no motivation. Simple as that. Oh, and here's a big one for today's world. Impulsiveness. How tempting are all the other things you could be doing? Every notification, every new video, they're all little hits of instant gratification. The more of those you have around, the harder it is to stick with something that requires real focus. And finally, there's delay. Our brains are all about right now. The further off the reward is, like graduating in a year or finishing a massive project, the less power it has to motivate you today. A tiny bit of fun right now often feels way better than a huge payoff way down the road. So now that we can kind of diagnose the problem using that equation, let's look at a really powerful way to start solving it. It's called the state, strategy, and story model. So think of these 3 things like they're being multiplied together. Your state is your energy, your strategy is your actual plan, and your story is your mindset. Now here's the kicker. If any one of those is a 0, your motivation becomes 0. You could have the world's best plan, but if you're exhausted and telling yourself you can't do it, nothing's going to happen. And let's just zoom in on strategy for a second. Because sometimes procrastination isn't this deep, emotional thing. Sometimes it's just a logistics problem. We're talking about your brain's executive function, its ability to organize and start. So if you feel totally overwhelmed, it might not be fear. You might just literally not know what the very first step is. Okay, enough theory. We've got our diagnostic tools, we have a framework. Now it's time for the really practical stuff. Let's build a toolkit of strategies you can literally start using the second this is over. First tool in our kit, it's a classic for a reason, the 2-minute rule. The idea is so simple. If a task takes less than 2 minutes to do, just do it right now. Don't put it on a list, don't think about it, just get it done. Doing this creates this incredible forward momentum, and it starts training your brain to act instead of overthink. Okay, this next tool is all about rewiring your brain. You see, we procrastinate because we associate a task with pain. The actor Terry Crews used this brilliantly to get himself to the gym. He wouldn't make himself work out. His only goal was to just show up. He'd literally go, read a magazine, and leave. By linking the gym with something easy and pleasant, he taught his brain it was a good place. You can do the exact same thing. Make the first step ridiculously small, and then immediately give yourself a little reward. This one is for all my perfectionists out there. This needs to be your new mantra. Perfectionism is just a story that keeps us from even starting, because the standard we've set is impossible. The real goal isn't to create a perfect masterpiece on your first try. The goal is just to get something done. Progress. You can always make it better later. And this is how it all comes together. Look at this. You're changing that overwhelming story, I have to finish this huge report, with a new, laughably small strategy. The goal is no longer finish it. The goal is just open it. That's it. You write one sentence. Momentum is an incredible force, and this is how you create it out of thin air. All right, we have the tools, we have the strategies, but none of this is going to stick without one last, absolutely crucial shift in how you think about this whole thing. This might be the most important and most counterintuitive idea of them all. When we procrastinate and then we beat ourselves up about it, all we're doing is piling on more bad feelings, guilt, shame, to that task. And that just makes us more likely to avoid it next time. It's a vicious cycle. Forgiving yourself for delaying actually breaks that cycle. It lets you come back to the task fresh, without all that baggage. So if you take one thing away, let it be this. You are not broken. You are not a procrastinator. You are a person who has a habit of procrastinating. Your brain just developed this little coping mechanism a long time ago. It's like outdated software. It doesn't serve you anymore. And the good news is, you can update it. Because in the end, that's what it all comes down to. Procrastination always starts with a story that a task is too hard, or too boring, or too scary. But you, right now, have the power to write a different story. So what's it going to be? What new story are you going to choose to believe as you take that next tiny step?